there's times where, you know, you, I don't know how to put it. I didn't particularly care for her in this role in the movie anyway.
Well,
but
see, that's how I feel. Like, I think she sucks as an actress.
Well, I do too, but I don't think that she deserved to be. If the article says we think she sucks and we're firing her and getting a new one, I would be much more okay than it would be she gave an opinion and we don't agree with it, so we fired her. That's my fucking problem with it.
Yeah, I'm really curious if it is that, you know, they think they didn't want her as the main girl. They wanted Jenna Ortega after, you know, because Jenna Ortega is the hot commodity.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
they lost Jenna before they lost her.
That was going to be my next thing is,
Yeah.
you know, they fired her and then Jenna Ortega
quit. Well, she said that she would be filming something else and she wouldn't be able to film.
Well, I did some deep diving on that. She actually said that she was going to pull double duty while filming Scream and Wednesday, I think is what was going to be filming at the same time. And then she pretty much said, no, I'm just going to focus on Wednesday because it's going to be too much. And that was that. When in reality was she dropped out because they fired Melissa Barrera.
Right. So now we got a situation where you already pissed off Neve Campbell, who is your old star. Now you've fired your new star, and now the star that you're hoping to have tells you to go piss up a creek. So now you're in developmental hell, and you deserve every goddamn bit of it.
Yeah, they have definitely shot themselves in the foot. Now the fucking director, Christopher Landon, fucking resigns. They don't even have a fucking director now.
There was it was two guys that was doing the directing for 5 and 6, and they left to go focus on I believe new Universal type of movies that they're doing.
Something like
that. But now they have lost the directors. They lost
the two main girls.
They lost Neve Campbell. They lost Melissa. Now they lost Jenna. They lost everything that made Scream successful. I mean, you might as well. I mean, at this point, I guess it's a good thing they did not pull the trigger and kill some of the main characters on the last movie, because they're going to need every bit of them. However, all the ones left, I give zero fucks about. So,
well, that's the thing. To me, they didn't make any of the new characters strong enough to carry on.
Right.
All the ones that I gave a fuck about are gone. Like, Jenna Ortega was the main girl that I cared about the most.
Yeah, this was, I mean, Scream 5 was her breakout role. Because, I mean, think about it, man. The beginning of the film, you think, oh, she's just going to be the beginning bitch that gets killed. Yeah. And she ends up surviving, and she ends up becoming the mainstay of that film. And from there on, you know, she gets all these offers, and she does the Wednesday project, and now she's the hot young actress in Hollywood.
The hot young horror actress.
Yeah. And you know, it is what it is. Honestly, you slow down on it anyway. Slow down, take a back seat and say, look, we have these problems. What are we going to do? Instead of rushing to try to fix a problem real quick, if you have a gaping wound, a Snoopy Band-Aid ain't going to fix it.
Fuck no. But some people have asked Neve Campbell, and she released a statement.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and I quote,
if the money's right, probably.
Very close, that she would return to Scream under the right circumstances.
Yeah, that means stop disrespecting her and pay her the money that she deserves.
Pin me, pay me.
Right. If you're going to bring Sigourney Weaver back into the Alien franchise, you're going to pay her. Jamie Lee Curtis got paid for the Halloween films. If you're going to bring back a significant part that made that franchise what it is, you need to pay the person. And look, there's when a young actress or actor starts off, you don't know that this movie's going to become a franchise or a series or anything else. But as that goes along, you realize this person is one of the reasons why this thing is big the way it is. So they have earned the opportunity to get paid more and more and more. If Neve Campbell got paid a certain amount for the first Scream, here it is, Scream 7 about to come out. She needs to get paid a whole fucking lot more than she got paid in the first Scream.
Yeah, 100%. Not to mention, like, she's the Jamie of Scream.
Yeah, she's what that franchise needs and always needed. And, I don't understand. Those movies are successful before, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why. Well,
my question is, what do they do at this point? Like, how do you make Scream 7?
Like I said, you take a step back and you don't rush this. You don't try to put a Snoopy Band-Aid over a big wound. You have to sit down and really think, okay, the first issue, first and foremost, can we get Neve Campbell? Are we willing to throw the money to get her?
They should be, but
if we can do that, I'm talking about the people. It's the studios that make these decisions.
Right.
You can't blame this on the writers. You can't blame it on the director. They don't pay these actors. The studio does. So we're talking about, the people that are in charge of putting this together is not necessarily the people that are in charge of paying who's going to be in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, my question is, okay, so you have Neve, right? Say the studio you're working for, or the studio, whatever it is called, says, okay, green light, we'll write the check that she's asking for, right? But we don't have Jenna Ortega and we don't have Melissa Barrera. Where do you go with this movie?
Well, it's obvious to me that you have to
scrap it. Scrap 5 and 6.
No, it's obvious to me that you don't have Melissa, you don't have Jenna, you don't have that story, so you have to go back to Neve Campbell and what's her name?
Goddamn.
Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox, yeah.
Those two have to be up front. You can't be a fucking stick in the mud and go, oh, they're old. That's not going to sell to a new audience. Bullshit. You know how many people were disappointed that Neve Campbell wasn't in the last movie?
A lot. We almost didn't see the movie because she's not in it.
Right. And why can't we go to a place where Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox are isolated or whatever? I mean, dude, you can do some shit and it doesn't matter. I mean,
do you think that they can do how they did Neve Campbell in 6, where they, talk about the sisters?
I can, yeah, like they know what's going on and they're hiding away or they're doing this or doing that or whatever. You can definitely make up a script where you can acknowledge them, but not having them in. The same thing they did with Neve in the last movie.
Right.
So, and there's possible that the other cast members can maybe somehow connect with Sydney and Gail and get together. Like that cast can find, we can't find, blah, blah, Melissa and Jenna, blah, 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 whatever. I can't remember their character names, but they left the state. We can't find them. the shit's going on again. We don't know who else to turn to. You guys have been there before. Can you help us?
See, I think that they should go this route. I think they should acknowledge that the sisters are doing fine after, acknowledge part 6, right? 6 happened in New York. They're now in somewhere else, okay? They're quote unquote living their happily ever after, how they did Neve Campbell in 6, right? So I think they should take the formula from Scream 1 pretty much. You know how it was where she was at and the killer was coming after her? I think they should go back to that formula. So she's at home with her husband from who did she marry? Her character married the sheriff, right? Exactly. Fucking jackass.
I think so.
Anyway, they're married. They have the happy family, that they mentioned in part 6. So now the killer is fucking with her where she's at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you go from there. So now she is after trying to find the killer where she's at, not the killer coming after her.
Like almost she's pursuing?
Yeah, like, we normally get them pursuing the killer. So you're flipping it some. So she's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. I mean, that's just my idea and my take on it.
The only reason I say that I don't know if that'll work is because Ghostface is not one person all the time. So somebody has to be Ghostface. How do you know who's going to be Ghostface to go after?
Well, I think
the whole thing about Ghostface is the reveal at the end. So you can't go after somebody that you don't know.
Well, I think that's when we dive into, I think you bring back Matthew Lillard as the killer, and I think you do this is going to sound fucking crazy, but you do a Charles Manson aspect to it, where he has like a cult of the like fucking kids that are trying to like look up to him. Mm-hmm. And people don't know that he's out of prison or, he never died type situation. I'm just throwing fucking turds at a wall trying to see if they stick. I mean, that's just one way I could think to go about it.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't like the idolization type of part. I want it to be a singular killer with nobody involved.
Well, I mean,
I don't like the aspect.
Well, you can take, okay, so let's take that aspect away. You have Matthew Lillard as the killer, but she has no idea where to go, but she has, like, say, I don't know, her husband is the first victim in the movie, right? So now that she knows that there's a ghost face coming after her, he leaves her like little clues, or he starts targeting like
that'll work.
People.
That'll work.
And then now she's on like this mouse hunt, and then he finally gets her type thriller type situation.
I mean, that'll work. I mean, you would have to have the in order for her to pursue, she would have to, something like that.
She has to have a motive.
Right. And that's been the MO of a Scream film for most of them, where you take a character gets killed in the beginning of the film that sets up everything else that comes on. They kind of broke that tradition with the 5th film because the first victim didn't die, and they did it with part 6, but the person that died in the beginning of part 6 wasn't relevant to anything anyway.
Right.
So they would have to bring it back full circle and have, honestly, I wouldn't do her husband. I would kill Gail. That's what I would do.
Oh, yeah, you could kill Gail.
I mean, that would be a big motivation for Sydney to, be motivated to fucking, find this killer or whatever. But, it's cool theorizing and coming up with all this shit.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, we want